Mike Swift, I learned something from you that you
Oh,
I did.
just that sentence alone, those few words right there is that's something.
Until yesterday, I had no idea that the Pokemon Go thing was still a thing, but I ran into a cult of phone people in the park, and you informed me that yes, Pokemon Go is still being played.
It,
I thought that was done in 2014 or 2015 or whatever it was.
you would have thought, but no, it's actually still going on strong. I used to live right across from said park, and just the amount of adults you would see in the middle of the park in the middle of the night. No
Yes.
longer, no longer meeting up. They're Pokemon going it.
No, and I guess gotta catch them all can take years.
In that park, especially, I think that's a whole new meaning. Gotta catch them all.
I mean, Pokemon, Predators, your choice.
Predators, STDs,
Whatever.
whatever.
Welcome to What's on Your Mind for July 21st. God, we are almost done with July.
So I gotta immediately throw up my hands and go, "Yep, I'm sorry, I messed up. You were 100% right last week,
Uh huh.
and last week was our
25th.
halfway. Yeah, that 26th,
Yeah.
26th. This is actually episode 27.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why you didn't. Thanks for correcting me so that I didn't hang myself out there and just,
Eh,
kind of look stupid and nostalgic
here's
over
the
something
here.
that
Let me tell you what happens after you've had a stroke. You think about doing something in the moment, and then when you go to do it, you forgot you were going to do that, and it just goes right.
Yeah, I'm not as fortunate. It's like I think about it in the moment. It's like, eh, eh.
Yeah. Well, since it is what's on your mind, and we are two radio dudes that just bitch about life,
We do.
you were up first, I believe.
I believe I am up first. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge, I lost another well, this is pretty much family, over the week. I didn't tell you about this, but, yeah, I lost yet another, um, family member, kind of. So she was I guess she was uh, a close friend of my mother's. My mother was godmother to her children. So does that technically make her my god sister? I don't know. I don't know how that kind of works.
I'm not sure if that's a thing or not. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm guessing you can make it work however you want it to.
I guess, but nonetheless, she was close to the family and sudden passing, and it breaks my heart. It really does. So my heart goes out to the family and who just experience a loss in the family after going through a hardship. So it sucks to see things like that happen to good people. She was young, beautiful girl. But that's I just want to acknowledge that it really wasn't what's on my mind tonight. What's on my mind is actually something I know I've partaken in. I believe you have too. Um,
We said we'd never talk about smoking pot on this particular podcast, and here we go.
I was not talking about that, and nor do I know what you're talking about. But anyway,
Whatever you said, partake. I just assumed.
yeah, you made an assumption. Yeah, well, there you go. Way to kind of throw things out there.
Sorry.
No, what I really wanted to talk about is sports betting and how
Yeah.
big it has become in the sports arena of every kind. Like you and I live in Ohio, where actually the sports restrictions, sports betting restrictions, are pretty strict. But in other states, there are crazy things that you can bet on, and like things that you didn't think were a thing that you can bet on, and that's always wowed me. Um, I have fun with it. I'm not a big gambler, I guess, using the famous air quotes. I do it out of enjoyment. Like a big bet for me is $1. Like that's a large wager for me. Like I don't go crazy
Yeah,
with it.
you
I just
you
have,
bet all the time.
but I do it all the time. But mostly that's
You know, there's
because
a number you can call, and they'll help you.
there are numbers. We should probably post those with tonight's broadcast or
Sure.
podcast. But no, I do it a lot. But there are times where I will pull back and not bet for weeks at a time and just go, you know what, having my fun, but I'm gonna sit back and just kind of enjoy sports for what it is. And I guess that's kind of where that leads to my what's on my mind. Like I fear that sports betting has changed sports forever because there are people out there that can't stop and they get so enthralled and so deep into it that it becomes dangerous. It becomes dangerous for the person. It becomes sometimes dangerous for the athlete because, sometimes there's a lot of money on the line and an athlete doesn't perform the way you wanted to or the way you needed to, and there are people
Well,
out there that'll,
the
reach
other
out and make threats and whatnot. Go
the
ahead.
other side of that is now if the athlete doesn't perform, there's the hey, why? Why are you not doing that? Why are you
Yeah.
because there's so much money on the line,
And
and
they've kind of combated some of that with I know they did this largely with FIFA. If you selected a player to score a goal and that player gets subbed out, then that sub continues that bet.
I
Um,
still don't believe that Shohei Otani had no idea what was going on with his.
but why? Why would he need to, especially in large amounts like that? You may be right. I mean, some people just do
I
it for
just
the
know
thrill of
this.
doing it.
I don't have Shohei Otani money by any stretch of the
Right.
imagination. But I tell you what, I know where all my money is allocated to. I know where all my money is going. And if I had Shohei Otani money and I to the point where I had to have other people taking care of my stuff, you better damn well believe I will know where every
Mm.
dime is going. In fact,
So you
I
don't think
will
it's
be paying more attention to my money because it is Shohei Otani level money as opposed to what I have now.
and I just simply playing the devil's advocate here in this, but you don't think it's possible to trust somebody for a long time to the point where there might be in some areas where you kind of taking your eye off the ball, I guess, for a lack of a better of analogy there.
Trust me with your life, not your money or your wife.
I got nothing to say to that. I got nothing to say to that. No, no.
That's not me. That's a quote from somebody, and I forget who it was. I forget who it was. And it was because it's from an athlete. And it's because of how that circle operates. And like, I don't know. I just don't think for a minute. Like again, and I guess it's different as someone who's never had Shohei Otani money, as opposed to maybe somebody who's been around it all their lives or whatever. I just know that like I would be super cautious of because I don't want to lose it. Like I look at it like, all right, what's Powerball? $700 million. I win
Yeah.
$700 million. Okay, half that, $350 million. I win $350
Hmm.
million. I know what it's like to have nothing. One day I'll tell the story of Michigan. And when I left and moved to Michigan the first time, I had $27 to my name. So
I think you've said that on a podcast. Yeah, you've talked
I
about that.
very much know what it's like to not have a dime and not know how if you're going to be able to put gas in your car or buy your next meal or do whatever. I'm very well versed in that. So if I were to win $350 million, I would do everything I can to not go back there. Will I have an offshore account just in case the government gets a little too handsy and I need a fallback plan? You're damn right I will.
Mhm.
Like I will do
Yeah,
everything. I will know where
but
every dime goes, even if, and I will give freely, even if I'm giving to charity. I'm gonna be like, yeah, dropped 50K at a charity last week, but I know where that 50K is going. If you came to me
yeah.
and said, hey, do you mind if I make a few bets? Can I invest X amount? You better believe I would have my eye on what you were doing with my money. I would know how much, you know what I mean? But they say when you're
Yeah.
gambling, hey, you should only gamble what you're comfortable losing. I'm not comfortable losing anything, even when I'm not worried about like right now. And this is not a brag. I know my rent's going to be paid okay in a couple of weeks. So like I'm not hard up on that. But at the same time, like I don't want to lose $200 or $100 or $1,000 or whatever at. So when they say only bet what you're comfortable losing, well, that's zero for me because I'm not
Which is why I'm comfortable only betting 25 cents at a time. Like honestly, and that's me, and I'm okay with that. Like, and I'm okay with making just a few because I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it
right.
for the entertainment value that adds to the sport that I'm watching at that particular time.
And I know there's no risk, no reward. I am totally cool with taking risks. I just don't. I think it comes from that's just not the risk. I don't know. I'll risk my life in other ways. That's just not one of the things that I want to throw a risk at. Now, again, if I knew I could invest something and make, and I do gamble, like I play fantasy football. I gamble on college football games. I'll put a bet on a UFC fight once in a while. There are things I will gamble on. I just don't do it at a massive level because I don't want to lose. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I agree with you 100,000%. And I'm the same way in a lot of ways. It's just like for me, the first time I tried it, sports betting was to get
Oh,
the because at that time,
I thought we segued back to pot.
Christ, I may have even talked about this on the air. Um, I one day I was living alone at the time. And I was living in back in Michigan, in Saginaw, and I lived at this time in the middle of Saginaw, like in the middle of Saginaw, right on Genesee. And anybody listening to this podcast who knows about Genesee knows about Genesee. But anyway, I woke up one morning and like this smell just completely gripped me and woke like it shot me in a panic out of my sleep. I wake up, sit up to a cloud of smoke in my room. And I'm like, "Oh my God, my apartment's on fire." And I'm a quick panic. I had cats at the time. I'm like, "Where are my cats?" Where like I'm panicking, running around, and then I just suddenly stop because I'm hearing fire trucks coming because I couldn't locate where the smoke was coming from. And I'm hearing fire trucks getting closer. Well, they're stopping like a block over. And I lived in front of a church, and the parking lot of the church, I could see it clearly across the block over. And the house across the block was what was on fire. And that
Oh,
smell was one I've never smelled before. You've smelled a burning building before, I'm sure. But this
yeah.
was way different. Way different. And yeah, it turned out they had a meth lab in the basement that caught on fire, and yep, the house went up in flames.
Yep. I mean, you got to be careful with
Yeah,
that
I
stuff.
mean, don't do it, but
No,
would be my advice. But teach their
no,
own.
but going back to you, what's on your mind with
Yes.
gambling, I do agree with you. And I think to be honest, it has changed the way I watch, especially during football season. Because if there's a sport I pay attention to the most, it's probably football. I love baseball. There's nothing like going to a live baseball game. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
being in a live game is such a good experience. But like most nights, I mean the Reds play late tonight, so but in most
Yeah.
nights, I always have the Reds game on as background noise, but I'm not laser focused on it like I am for football. When it comes to
Mm.
football, I am like 100% to the game. And even when they cut to something else, oh, how's my player doing? You know what I mean? Like it's definitely
Right.
changed the way I've watched it. And there are times when like I would have been in a record company football fantasy football pool for years, and I remember I lost one year because it was back when Aaron Rodgers was the starting quarterback for the Packers, and they get to the point where they're doing well. And when they start resting players, that's usually like championship weekend in fantasy football.
Mm-hmm.
So they rested all those players at the second half, and I'm like, "What are you doing to me?"
Right.
So it's like, but it's definitely,
and that's a lot of people's reactions to when they lose. I mean, you've got guys that will tank. You got guys who just, for whatever reason, it's not happening for them. And then you've got situations where, a team is doing so well that a star player gets subbed out. And it's like, it damages your world. I have lost bets where all I needed was 1 point or, whatever, one more, whatever from some. I am the king of almost won if I just needed 1 or 2 points from this person or that. I am the king of that, and to the point where I joke. A lot of these sports betting apps need to hire me to make prop bets for people to jump onto, because I guarantee it will look good through the whole game, and then at the very end will fail at the last minute of the game. I guarantee it.
I think that's par for the course for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The saying that the house always wins is true.
It is 100% true.
Because here's the thing. I was talking about how I don't, only risk what you want to lose. The house doesn't risk more than they're capable of losing. You know what I mean? And in the house's mind, they go, we made 50 million tonight, so we'll let go, a few $100,000 in winnings. That's okay.
Those percentages play into blackjack. I don't know if you've ever gone into a casino and actually played blackjack, which is why the dealer at a blackjack table will actually help you and give you advice if you ask him or her. Where at, say poker or something else, nah, not so much.
I played when I was at a rock radio conference in Vegas just before the pandemic hit, and I actually gambled and won. And I literally used the money to, for the girl that I was with, I used the money and bought us tickets to zip line across Fremont Street. Like at the top. That's literally
awesome experience.
That's literally what I used the money on. So I'm like, oh, cool.
That is pretty dope.
I won money. Let's just go buy these tickets. And then I think the tickets were like $100 a piece or $150 a piece or something like that. And that's what my winnings paid for us to zip line across the street.
Now I'm not a big casino gambler. When I lived in Bay City, every once in a blue moon, I would go to Soaring Eagle with $60, literally no more, no less in my pocket and my ID. And if I won, great. If I didn't, I literally, my wallet was in my car, and I would just, have a little bit of fun, but and sometimes I would win something, sometimes I wouldn't, but either way, it was just $60 and I was okay with that. But I was never a big, huge gambler. There are people, I kind of talked about this when I played with the band. By the end, we were playing in a couple of different casinos, and you would see just some crazy. I saw a guy, literally admit at a table that he was betting, his kid's college fund money. Like, he ended up hitting really big, and it was just like, I don't know. I don't know. There is, I guess everybody has their own limits, but to be playing with somebody's and to openly admitting that to people, maybe he was joking. Maybe he was just one of those people like myself that can make a dry joke and sound convincing that he was really kidding. I hope he was. But, I've seen crazy stuff in some of these casinos.
Sure. Me too.
One night, me and the band went out to a casino. We took because of course when you play casinos, they pay you right away. when you're the talent, they will cash your check right there on site. Hey, look, if you want some private tables, we'll open up private tables for you, which is a cool experience to do. We did it once, which was fun, but um, you know, and I think this was this a scene from a movie. Honestly, I was sitting at a blackjack table. I won. I won a few $100 off of house money. So I'm getting up from the table, and Sal, one of the guys in the band, puts his hand on my shoulder, says, "No, you should let it ride." And I can't remember what movie that was from, but I played into it, fell right into it, lost everything I just won. And before I could turn around and cuss him out, he was literally running out the front door of the casino laughing.
Yeah.
And I had to laugh about it too because it wasn't my money. It was never my money to begin with. Didn't expect to walk out of the place with money, and that's what ended up happening. And I don't think I ever laughed so hard losing money. Um, but getting back to the actual surface and point of what's on my mind, sports betting is changing sports, and I'm kind of a little fearful. And and again, I'm definitely a contributor to an extent, but I kind of fear the direction that it's taking. And you see now a lot of states realizing the mistake that they've made, and they're trying to kind of pull the reins back a little bit. Ohio, especially being one of them. Prop betting, I think, is about to go away in
Mhm.
our state, um, which sucks because that's mostly what I do. But I can understand why. Um, in Ohio, you can't gamble on individual college players, where Michigan you can. At least right now, that's the
Right.
way it is. And I think, especially when we're looking at college sports, they're young kids. They shouldn't be exposed like that anyway. So I can understand. Um, I hope there are ways that both sides can enjoy uh sports betting, whether you're someone placing the bet or a state who is benefiting the money from the betting. Um, it's kind of the Wild West right now, and I hope there's a way to kind of reel it in a little bit where both sides kind of go, okay, look, I didn't get everything I wanted, but I'm satisfied.
Right. Which, I mean, I think it's got a little bit out of hand. I mean, they've opened the floodgates, and they've made it to where you can practically place a bet on almost anything. And I think that's where I think it can't be the wild, wild west.
Yeah, yeah, I agree 100%. And, and ironically, the same thing is happening since you brought it up, and I'll be very brief about it. The same thing is going on with the legalization of marijuana. A lot of states, especially um, I can't remember if it's Ohio or Michigan, that agreed to a ridiculous. Oh, it was Michigan that agreed to a ridiculous tax
Yeah.
that everybody was like, "Don't do it, don't do this," and now they're going, "Oh my gosh, what have we done? We're not making any money. In fact, we're losing money now." Um, and I just think I guess all in all, no matter what it is, you've got if you're going to be bold with letting the reins off of something, you've got to be more cautious and careful on how you release those reins, if that
For
makes
sure.
sense to what I'm trying to apply here.
No, it makes sense. No, I think there's definitely, I mean, I agree with you. I think and again, I'm not faulting anybody who does. Everybody's entitled to, you know, do what they want with their money and gamble and all that kind of fun stuff. But I think it's just, you know, I think it gets a little ridiculous. And I think it does. I get why gambling's addicting because when you lose, if you're not comfortable losing,
Oh, it's
you
like, what can I do to get this back? Yeah.
right, I got to win it back. And then you keep
Hmm.
going and keep going and keep going. And the next thing you know, it is your mortgage and your kid's college fund that's gone.
Number one rule of sports betting is never chase your bets. Never chase your bets. If you're okay with it, look, if you're willing to bet any amount of money, be sure to be okay with letting go with that money, letting go of that money and just moving on. Listen, if you serious in all seriousness,
I just wrote a note.
if you thank you.
Okay.
Okay, in all seriousness, if in all seriousness, if you feel that you may have an issue with betting, there are places to get help. Gamblinghelp.org or gamblinghelp ohio.org here in Ohio, or 1-800 589 9966. And there are just places you can reach out, get help in your state. Just look it up, Google it. But you know, listen, if what I'm saying right now even kind of tips you in the scale of, maybe I do have a problem, reach out. And that's what's on my mind.
You want lighthearted or you want heavy?
Oh,
I can go either. I can go either direction tonight because there's a lot of stuff on my mind. One of them is a little heavier. The other can be kind of lighthearted.
I don't know, Steven. Are you feeling like I feel like you have frustration and anger to let go.
Um, I do have. Yeah, but I always have that. Even when I'm in the best moods, I still have frustration and anger to let go.
Let's keep it lighthearted. Let's keep it lighthearted. I'm in an upbeat, lighthearted mood today.
Because the heavy will still be heavy in a week or two or whatever. Lighthearted. We've talked about this a little bit, but I heard it today. And while I was listening to this song today, it just made me think back to all the different purposes that this song had at instances in my life. And it's kind of funny how each instance that song became more serious because of what it was the instance for, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
I think I'm connecting the dots.
music's the soundtrack of your life.
Yes,
so,
I agree.
So I mean, we've talked about where certain songs, reflect certain memories or whatever. And
right,
for whatever reason today, I was going through a playlist and I was strumming through songs on a playlist. And let me put this out for the record too, while we're on the subject of playlists. Every day, and I have done this since 2010, 11, 12, something along those lines. Every day, I put a song of the day on my social media.
Right.
And I can't take credit for the idea. The idea started after I interviewed Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20. And he did the same thing once upon a time. He did a song of the day on his social media. And that's where I took the idea from. So everybody reads more into the song that I put on like today, it was Wake Me Up by Avicii. Every morning when I get out of bed, when I check email real quick or whatever, before I get my dog up, I always ask my smart speaker to play my sound, to shuffle my soundtrack. And which is just basically compiled of songs based on what I've listened to over the course of the week. So it changes all the time. So like one day when I say shuffle my soundtrack, it's going to be stuff similar to whatever I've listened to the prior week. So my song of the day that I put out there, lyric wise or whatever else, is always the first song she plays in the morning. That's what it is. There's nothing more. There's nothing less to it. That's what it is. So it drives me crazy when, was that about me? Was that lyric about me? Stop putting yourself on a pedestal that you don't belong on. It's just. And what I am guilty of, though, is when that song starts, I will listen to the lyrics and I will pull out my favorite lyrics of the song to go along with the song of the day. That's it.
Right.
Nothing more, nothing less. It's not, I'm suicidal today, so here's my Alice in Chains song of the day. It's not, nothing. It's just whatever song plays first at whatever time I get up in the morning. That's it. That's the secret.
Hmm.
That's the
I
method
think
behind
I think part of that is we are guilty as human beings when we hear a song or get reminded of a song, to instantly post about it because it's relating to something that's going on in someone's life at that specific moment in time. I'm guilty of it myself. Um, Hell, I think it was maybe last week or the week before. Was going through, I don't even know. I think maybe I came home from karaoke late night and just started going through songs, and the Backstreet Boys song that you put on my radar,
it.
"Hey," came
Hey,
on,
oh
and I
yeah.
was like, "Holy shit!" It's so interesting, and I think I posted. I think my quote that I posted is, "It's so interesting how the words of others can relate." Back to what you may be feeling or going through at a certain
Thousand
point in
percent.
time, and I put in quotation marks, "Hey," and that's all I said.
Yeah.
And so I can understand where, because a lot of people do that all the time, that where if you don't know you, if someone doesn't know you and sees you posting something like that, like to go through your daily posts and see, quotes and stuff like that from songs. And yes, there are times when songs may be a little dark or have
Sure.
a
Sometimes
meaning.
sometimes art mirrors life.
It mirrors life, and people take what they feel from art. You can be someone that looks at a painting and sees something completely different than another person sees, and the same thing with music. And so I think sometimes people see what they want to see when they hear something, rather than saying simply, "Hey, this could be just something very simple as one, two, or three."
Oh, for sure.
So I could understand, and then again, relating that back to knowing you as a friend, how, if times aren't always the best,
I
where
I've
someone
been
would go, "Oh, wait, he's talking about this or that."
well, and I've been guilty lately of I like my entertainment has become watching like old music videos and old like concert footage and like just thinking back to how good that time was. Like it's just, what it is. But like the other night, I posted late at night one night because again, I was up. I posted the lyrics, "Come break me down, bury me, I am finished with you." And I got so many, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you?"
I
Nothing.
can understand. Oh my God, that's a cry for help.
It's
And
not
I,
though.
I,
It's
I
it's
didn't miss that post. Like, I could see where others would think that, and I
I
didn't see
was
that one. But I would be
I,
one. That would be one where I would
uh,
go, "Okay, I'm sure he's
but
pretty good," but I would still maybe text you and go,
do you
"Hey,
know
dude,
where
you
that
good?"
do you know where that comes from? I was watching 30 Seconds to Mars, which I know Jared Leto. There's a lot of stuff going around about Jared Leto that may or may not be true. I don't know that, but I love 30 Seconds to Mars. A Beautiful Lie is one of my favorite albums of all time. I used to listen to that cover to cover when I scheduled music
You
every day. And like,
that album is great, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I love a lot of 30 Seconds. Like, if you
right.
haven't really listened to 30 Seconds to Mars, outside of the songs that were played on the radio or whatever, do it. Do it.
No, I literally,
Excellent band.
if
Really.
you go back to 2006, 2007, 2008, there's a very good chance that I got off the air after my morning show. I would sit in my office and I would schedule music for the radio station. And that is the song, that album was always playing in my
Hmm.
office, always. But
Hmm.
those lyrics are from The Kill, and 30 Seconds to Mars released a acoustic version of it that had a lot of footage of when they first started writing it and at first like just the raw vocals and everything else. And part of it was Jared Leto playing a video of reading an email from 2006 where he was talking about radio stations just added the kill. And it just made me think of that time. And I'm like, I remember when Jared Leto was in a car with one of the executives at his record label, and they called me one day. We used to have this bit because Jared Leto would leave me. I wish I still had some of the audio. I probably do someplace. But Jared Leto used to leave me random voicemails, and we used to play it on the air in the morning because I was like, I was the joke. I'm like, I'm the guy that Jared Leto calls and leaves voicemails with. But it just took me back to that time, and that's what made me think of it. But going back to what's on my mind, earlier tonight, Good Riddance, Time of Your Life from Green Day came on to one of my playlists. Oh
my God.
And I remember
that song was supposed to be my class song. That song was supposed to be my class song. And because I went to a private school and because of the title of the song and not the lyrics, they went, no, you can't. And we as a class went, did you listen to the song? Not in one place do they say Good Riddance or anything negative. But yeah, anyway, go ahead.
It was I remember that song. The first time I ever applied it to my life was I had this mutual understanding. I think I talked about the girl that I was trying to petition into a class with and became super, super infatuated.
I think just a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Jennifer. Yep. And, I remember like Jennifer and I like going our separate ways. And I mean, we had it was a rift, but not really a rift. And I just kind of played that song in my head at the time, and I had that album on CD, and it was one of the CDs in my changer because in the early 2000s you had CD changers.
A CD changer
that was a thing.
Yeah.
But I played that song, and that's where I can first remember it coming to play a factor in my life was then. Fast forward, I remember shortly after getting in Michigan and going and karaokeing the first time. And that was the song that I did my karaoke song to, which was the first time. Cause I always had I had this scary thing about singing in public and being on stage in public, which was really weird because I was doing radio at the time. So I was always,
but it's a different feel. It's a different feel.
We all went out one night. The guy who when I first started radio, I was kind of his sidekick on his night show. And like Jeff and I used to hang out all the time. Like we'd go out like after the show, probably like 3 or 4 nights a week, like legitimately all the time. Not just radio events, just in general. And I know we used to always do that kind of stuff too. But Jeff did this thing where we were all going karaoke, and true story, we used to go karaoke with the guys in Blessed Union of Souls, and nobody knew.
Yes, I remember you telling this story. Yes, yeah, please tell it though.
Nobody knew everybody knew who they were. Everybody knew their songs, but nobody knew who they were. And Elliot
and just to kind of paint the picture here, Blessed Union, I believe
Hey Leonardo, Light in Your Eyes. There's a ton of them. But
yes,
they would go out and Elliot would get up there and sing, and he would even sing his own songs which was funny. And people would go, "Oh, dude, you should get a record deal. You're really good." It was
and in fact, I think you told me one night that somebody said that he sang the song better than the guy that sang it. Sang, I believe.
Yeah,
better than the guy on the radio, and he's kind of like, thank you.
So we used to go do like, I mean, it was almost like karaoke roulette. He used to make everybody sing a certain song, and I remember the night that I had to go up there, and I was nervous as hell because I didn't want to sing in like a bar full of people. And when I got up, he gave me Garth Brooks' "The River." And I went and I fucking blew it out of the water. Like it was nice. Cool. It was cool. But it was just like he went back like to the point where my college roommate Todd was like, no way, and like actually made the karaoke guy say, no, that was really him. It wasn't like any kind of like
nice.
There was nothing behind it or whatever. And it was kind of fun. But when we went the first time I karaokeed in Michigan, it was Green Day time of my life. In fact, I was just having this conversation about karaoke with a lady a few days ago because I was asking her, I'm like, what's your go-to song? And she was like, Jewel. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like I always like to know what people's go-to karaoke songs are because everybody's is different. And it's kind of cool like what people throw out
I
there.
love karaoke. I love karaoke. As you know, that's one of my favorite pastimes. In fact, I just got back into like doing karaoke because I've lived here in Ohio almost 14 years, 15 years, somewhere in that ballpark,
Yeah.
14 years. Um, and still yet, as long as I've lived here, I really didn't go out. So I don't know like a lot of places to go out. But I recently there was a bar that I went to for karaoke years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, uh, and we went out for one night. Um, I got up to do one song, was going to do more, and then some lady had like a medical issue literally on stage, and it was like it killed the party. It was like, all right, party over, everybody go home. And that was like the last time I'd actually gone out and done
Yep.
karaoke. And just one day I was like, hey, I forgot about this place. And so the last couple of weeks
The
I've
last
popped in
time I
there.
went out, yeah, you were talking about it.
And
The last
yeah,
time I
no, I had
went
a great time.
karaokeing in Ohio was the girl I was
I
with.
think we went. Oh
We
no, no.
No, we didn't. The girl I was with at the time and a few of her friends, I guess our friends, went out and they all karaoke. It was right after I had my vocal cord surgery and I wasn't allowed to speak
Ah, you couldn't sing. You
because
couldn't speak at that time.
I couldn't speak. I had 10 days. Try being on the radio and not being able to speak for 10 days. That's an interesting thing to do. But I had
Hmm.
10 days where I couldn't speak. I wasn't allowed to talk, so I couldn't do anything. And that was the last time I went karaoke. Um, but it's kind of funny about karaoke because there are people with karaoke that, and I've said this on the air before, they take that shit seriously, and
Yes, they
so
do.
does and whoever hosts karaoke takes it equally seriously, and they're all like, all right, everybody, let's get Dave up here. There's always a guy in every karaoke bar that will do a couple of different artists. All right, everybody, let's get Dave up here. Dave's going to do a little Bon Jovi for us. And Dave will go up there and sing his heart out to Wanted Dead or Alive. And then
Hmm.
a few people else will go up there. A few more drinks will be served, and the guy will get back on the mic. All right, everybody, we're going to get Dave back up here again. Dave doing a little Creed. And Dave will proceed to sing Creed.
So I was a karaoke DJ for a few years in Saginaw.
I remember that.
Um, and yeah, you're right. There are those people, but and
There are
it's
also
interesting because
people
it's
that if they were allowed to sell merch in the back of the bar, they would.
they would, yes,
Because they
because
go
they
to
do take it that
Kohl's.
seriously
They do. They go to Kohl's and get themselves a new outfit, and they're going up there.
every week or whatever. And
There will
yeah, no,
always
there
be a
are
girl
people
that
that
will
really
do.
take that seriously.
There will be a girl that will do Black Velvet. There will be a group of drunk
Yes,
girls that will do like the Dixie Chicks or something
girls
else.
just want to have fun.
Yes.
Spice Girls. But yeah, no, I'll have to say I had a lot of fun doing karaoke as a DJ, at like hosting karaoke. It was fun. And there were nights where it was just like, oh my God, this song cannot get over fast enough. Because there were people where it's like you're tone deaf, but God bless you for being ballsy enough to getting up here. So you try to always be encouraging. So, I guess that's the part about doing karaoke hosting as opposed to DJing anything else. You have to constantly, like, you just can't go, oh, that was really bad, but everybody put your hands together for Paula.
Yeah. Let me before I want to come back to that for a second because let me finish what's on my mind first, and we can
Yeah, we got off track.
So, but Green Day became that song that I first karaokeed in, and then when I left Michigan, my last day on the station, I had two kind of go goodbyes. I had one on the air, and then I had one during a charity event that I stuck around to finish that I could see through.
Hmm.
And like my final goodbye was there. But the last song I played on the air when I signed off from the studio after the morning show for the last time was Green Day, Time of Your Life.
Green Day, Good Riddance. Yeah,
Yeah. So
I remember that.
it's kind of weird. And now, like, I heard that song today and I was like, I wonder which aspect of my life I would apply it to, but I'm sure there's one that it would fit. Like, and it's just weird how like one song can tell about 5 or 6 different chapters of your life if you let it.
What is the what's the name of it? Oh gosh, I'm trying to look it up. Always wear sunscreen.
Oh yeah, Boz Lerman.
Always wear sunscreen. I used to for a while at every point in time of my life listen to that song once a year and just see where I was in that application. And if you've never heard the song, it's called Always Wear Sunscreen.
Yeah, you know who it
And
is. You know who
it
Boz Lerman is, right? Boz Lerman directed
uh,
Romeo and Juliet. The melody to Wear Sunscreen actually is in Romeo and Juliet during the choir scene, I think, when the girl is singing. But Boz Lerman is the guy who put that song together. The guy who reads the words is the dude who does who voices behind the music for VH1.
behind the music from VH1. Yes, I did know that. I did know that. Um, but if you've never listened to it, it's not a song where you're listening to someone singing and there's harmonies and all this and that. It is literally just music playing and the gentleman just reading life advice.
It's a
Different
graduation speech. It's a graduation
it,
speech.
it really could, yes, and
No, that's what
a
it.
lot of
That's what it
people use
is.
it
It's
as
actually a
graduation.
graduation speech.
Yes, it's a
It's
commencement speech. You're right. I
it's
forgot that that's really what it was.
yeah, for the class of 1997. It's a commencement speech for the class of 1997.
I forgot it was even that much. But if you've never listened to it, I suggest listening to it just to see where just because I guarantee at some point in time in that song there is a word of advice where you go, holy crap, wow, if I knew then what I know now. Or if you have listened to it, I still recommend going back and listening to it again just to see where the advice hits you differently than it would the last time you may have listened to it, or even back in 1997. Because I guarantee it that there is a point in time where you're just going to go, holy crap, wow, that is so true.
Oh yeah, I mean it's very it's. Oh, I'm sorry, 99, not 97. Ladies and gentlemen of the
Is it
class
97?
of 99, wear sunscreen. I could offer you only one tip for the future. Sunscreen would be it. The long-term benefits of sunscreen have been proven by scientists, whereas the rest of my advice has no basis more reliable than my own meandering experience. I will dispense that advice now, and then it kicks into the beat. But there are some good lines in it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's stuff that like what I love is you'll not understand, enjoy the power and beauty of your youth. You'll never understand the power and beauty of your youth until they faded. Trust me, in 20 years, you'll look back at photos of yourself and recall the way, in a way you can't grasp now, how much possibility lay before you and how fabulous you really looked. You're not as fat as you imagined. That's not necessarily true. But anyway,
Don't worry
but
about the future or worry, but know that worrying is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubblegum. The
yeah.
real troubles in your life are apt to be the things that never crossed your worried mind. The kind blindside you at 4 p.m. on some idle Tuesday. Oh man, I'm telling you, listen to it if you haven't. If you have, re-listened to it, I guarantee it's gonna hit you a little
The
differently
line that
than
I
it did
love
the
the
last time.
most, there's 2 lines that I love most in this song. One is don't read beauty magazines, they'll only make you feel ugly. And two, get to know your parents. You never know when they'll be gone for good.
Mine is don't waste your time on jealousy. Sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind. The race is long, and in the end, it's only with yourself.
Yeah,
That is so deep.
it's a
That
good
is
song.
so deep, man. But it is a good song. I digress. There are so many songs that you know you can apply to life, but always wear sunscreen is just one of those weird ones. For years, I think for about a good decade, I listened to it just once out of the year just to kind of gauge myself, how far ahead or behind I may have come. And it's just always amazing.
Anyway, that's what's on my mind. So, bounced around a lot, but that's what's on my mind.
By the way, he does weddings. You can at him,
You
Stephen
can
Mace
at
on
me.
air.
You do weddings, bar mitzvahs, corporate events.
Your divorce
Divorce parties,
celebration,
divorce
divorce
celebrations, all of it.
settlements.
Absolutely.
How many of those have you had?
I've never. You know what? I have had a divorce party before.
Really?
Absolutely, had a divorce party. I've always wanted to you know, when I was in radio, it's kind of funny. Or when I was in radio, when I still am in radio, but when I used to do, remember when we used to always have to do the bridal fairs at radio?
Yeah.
I used to always want to set up like a prenup booth and a divorce attorney booth.
See, that's what's something I would do as a bit on the air.
You know why?
Just go to a bridal show.
You know why?
Let's check in with Swifty at the food.
I do. You know why? Because I want to be like, you can watch people walk around bridal shows, and you either see the dude so whipped that he's super excited to look at anything that she wants to look at. Then you see the person that is so worried about the cost of this as they're walking around. And then you see the person that, like, you can tell that he has surrendered his spine and his life as he knows it is about to come to an end. And it's just, those are the things you see, which is why I'm like, if I was a divorce attorney, you better believe I'd have a booth at a bridal fair.
I'd try to get a booth at the bridal show. Heck yeah. Heck, I bet you someone has tried and they're like, no, absolutely not.
I would do a prenup booth too, because here's the thing: half of nothing is still worse than nothing.
It's still something. I always wanted to do this as a bit, but there's just very little audio involved. But sit outside a bank in a ski mask and just let people in.
For sure.
Hey, how you doing? Like, I always wanted to do that, but there was just very little audio.
See, I'd mess around there right now. Like, you want to go to the other bank down the street? Trust me.
See, no, because see that now you're dancing on a fine line that you don't want to be a part of, but that would be funny.
Be funny.
Excuse me, ma'am. You might want to hit one of the other branches.
Right? Exactly.
It's a little busy in there.
It is. Come back later. We're closed. We're out of money.
I think they're out of money. I heard a rumor inside. They may be out of money.
Exactly.
Anyway.
On that note, we'll see you next week.
Maybe.